Welcome back. This is phenomenal. It feels like it was 7 days ago that we split ways for the different sessions, and it was 7 hours. So I'm feeling, frankly, a little bit of an adrenaline rush still, and I didn't think it would last this long. And it's because of all of the energy that you are bringing, and I'm so grateful to have shared this day with you. I frankly can't believe that I get paid to share this day with you. And I hope that you're feeling the same way, that generally you get to do this as a job. I hope we've brought you a bit of that excitement. I hope we've brought you a bit of those connections, and that you've brought the joy to your day and the motivation to take it forward. So we're coming into the last 20 minutes right now. We do have a special surprise at 5 p.m., and then we've got our networking until 7. So in the home stretch, and we have no more mentees. So no phones needed. This is about time for you. So there has been tons of activity today. I have had conversations happening where we've had minds buzzing, where it's been called, this is like a hurricane of thought happening. And so there's a lot going on. And I want us to take a few moments and actually just make some meaning of today. Because oftentimes you go to conferences and then there's so much and you go back to work and you're like, okay, and I have to crack on with daily life. But you probably work with others, or you have friends that you want to talk to about today. And I want to give you that time right now, about 5 minutes, to just make a bit of meaning. So the only prompt we're going to give you is, how was today? And what I'd like you to do is, you've got a notebook in front of you. We're going to put on some nice tunes. And for the next 5 minutes, just be there. You've got your pens. Thank you, Bloomberg, for kidding us out. And take some time. This can be something you actually do give to a colleague or a friend. It can be what you might want to send out to your team tomorrow to tell them about this. It can also just be for you. So there's no pressure on it. But would love you to take some time right now to just think, how was today? So we'll come back in about 5 minutes and enjoy. So what we want to know now is, that's been a chance to make a bit of meaning, and it wouldn't be the closing of an FEA summit if we didn't have you connecting for one last time. So we've talked a lot this morning about the past 10 years. We were looking forward, and as Anne Longfield has just left, she's in the back of the room. Bye, Anne. I'm going to channel your energy and saying, what we need right now is to mobilize. What we need right now is to be a warrior. And I really want us to channel that, because there's no use in sticking with small incremental changes right now. Like, we've seen what that has led to, and we're letting children and young people down. And if we start the next session thinking about our actions with the same way we thought about this morning, which is that we need to narrow the gap and eliminate the gap, we need to be bold in our next steps. And so I really invite you to think about this in 3 levels, about, to get where we need to be in 2032, looking 10 years' time right now, what do we need to be doing now? And for the FEA, it starts with us. It starts with the individual. That is the thing that we own. That is the thing that we have control over. So we want you to think about you as a center. So what are you going to be doing as a result of this? Second, what's your organization going to be doing? Whether that's your organization that is 50 years old, or whether that's maybe one that's 1 day old and you just conceived of the idea upstairs in the innovation sessions. But what's your organization going to be doing? And then finally, what do we as a collective need to be doing? So I'd like you to take about 30 seconds. You can jot down some notes, and then please find someone new, and you're going to have about 2 minutes each to share. So 30 seconds individually to think about your actions for you as an individual, as an organization, and as a collective, 1 for each at least. And then find somebody new. So if you've been sitting next to that same person, ciao for now. And find someone new. We'll have about 5 minutes total for you to chat. 2 minutes, 2 minutes, and then we'll be coming back together again. All right? Okay, see you soon. So I'd love to take a few volunteers and just hear on these layers where we're at. So thinking about the individual, which is the human at the heart of this. Would love to hear if it's something that was a thought that occurred to you or something you heard from your partner. We don't know who your partner was, so it's all anonymous. If you could just raise your hand if you're happy to share what's something that you as an individual are going to be doing in your commitment. So throw them up. We'll come here, and then we'll just do this first table. So Caroline in the front row, and then the table.
Thank you. So for me, I think it's been a while since I've worked with young people directly. So as an individual, I need to get back into mentoring and working with a young person to try and help them make a difference. So that's my individual one.
Thank you, Caroline. I love that. Seeing and interacting with young people today, thank you so much to all of our young facilitators for bringing that to life and getting into mentoring and our individual motivation, our individual commitment to putting in the time above and beyond. Let's go to yes, thank you.
Thank you. I'm Denise from BTS Spark. My individual goal really is to somehow escape from the sort of challenge of all the small stuff that keeps me busy, to find the time to work on the bolder aspirations and the more strategic stuff.
Amazing. Thank you. Yeah,
Not quite
right?
sure how, but
So focused. Sorry, go ahead, Denise.
I said I'm not quite sure how, but it's got to happen somehow.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, in my commitment, which is really interesting around the individual, it came from that last panel, and I think, is Tasha still here? Yeah, great. When Tasha was talking about the advocacy fatigue, I think one of the things that I'm committing to is to say, how can we be more supportive of those who want to be bold and are getting fatigued by the constant need to be bold? So I think we've got a lot of that in the room and what we can be looking for. What about on an organizational level? Can you raise your hand if you'd like to share on an organizational level, what are your commitments? Great, we'll come forward.
Thanks. I'm Dave from the Visionaries, and I asked a question earlier with this microphone, which led to a series of discussions with different people. And there's this question about youth engagement, sharing the power. We're not going to get the least privileged young people to be able to participate if we don't pay them for their time, support them as we would any other adult. But there's a problem in the governance level that being a trustee, to quote somebody who came and spoke to me, requires a lot of privilege. So what do we do about that? I think it means we need to actually evolve and change our governance models. Otherwise, we're kind of going round in circles. So as an organization, that's something we need to work on. What does it look like to be able to properly support less resourced young people to be able to share the power?
Absolutely. Governance models in charities, governance models in schools, right? It's all voluntary, and we're expecting individuals to be able to give up their time and support our organizations or our schools, and it's a huge commitment. And so if we actually want that diversity, how are we doing it? So your organization, which organization was it from again? The Visionaries, awesome. We're going to be talking to Dave over drinks to learn more. Anybody else from an organizational commitment? We'd love to hear from you. Great, up here in the front row, Janine. Thanks. Would you mind standing as well?
If I have to.
Thank you.
Hi. I'm not going to look in that direction. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Katie. I'm from the Girls Network. And I think for me, I went into the scaling workshop kind of earlier on. And at the moment, we're going through conversations about actually what growth looks like for us over the next 5-10 years. Is it impact? Is it depth of impact? Is it scaling reach? And all of those conversations. And I think what the scaling conversation brought to me was, rather than just replicating kind of what we do now and trying to do more of it, which is, it works amazingly, but it's very resource intensive, actually based on our vision as an organization, how do we challenge that and how do we do it differently and how do we do it collaboratively as well with all of the amazing organizations that are in this room. And so it's just really inspired me to actually go into our trustee meeting next week and be bolder about looking at how we challenge those things in this conversation. So,
I love that. Thank you so much, Katie, and thank you for turning that way so everybody could see you as you spoke as well. That was so insightful about spirit of collaboration, and scale isn't just doing what we do to more and with more young people or teachers and leaders, etc. It's about changing our model, changing our end game. So a lot to explore within that and being bold. Thank you so much. And then finally, on the collective, excited to hear about this. So what are the commitments that we need as a collective? I'd love to hear from a few people. Just pop your hands up and we'll call from there. Great. We've got a big surge in this area. So we'll go to the individual in the denim, and then, we'll go to Aziz first.
Hi, I'm Aziz from 2 to 3 degrees. It didn't intentionally rhyme with my name. But anyway, the thing that I think as a collective would be really good is I would love to leave here. I feel so inspired, by the way. But I would love to leave here and next year say 2 to 3 degrees as a FEA member is working towards boom. And I could get behind that, and all of us could get behind that, and that would be like our advocacy for the commitment more long term. And I think if we just had one clear voice, that would be really, really helpful. And that's kind of what came out of that panel discussion as well.
Amazing. One clear voice, that unified message. Thank you. We'll go to the individual there. Perfect. And then back to Grace.
Hi, I'm Hilary Strong from Making Theatre, Gaining Skills from sunny Bognor Regis. I think there's something to be learnt from COVID in the way that we communicate messages, and I think we should be looking at communicating direct to the community, the public, at a local level, but in a very skilled way, and possibly by empowering people to learn how to communicate effectively, because I'm not convinced that right now in 22/23 that talking to politicians is really going to make a difference. I think it's about town hall meetings, it's about simple messages that really engage directly, like the school meal debate and others.
Thank you so much. So changing who we are working with and who we are empowering. It doesn't have to be us. There are other communities. Amazing. And we'll close with Grace on the collective. Would love to hear your thoughts.
Thank you, and thank you for this day. It's amazing. Yeah, sorry, standing up. Hello. Oh my God, there's so many of you. So I just think the next 10 years are going to be so much harder, and I think kind of to the point on sort of fatigue generally. I think what we could do for each other would be kind of remain empathetic and compassionate, because we're going to be really tired, and I think when we're tired, we make poorer decisions. And so as far as we can look after each other, I think that's probably a sensible thing. So thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Grace. Thank you to all of those brave volunteers. Thank you for sharing. I know there's so much more and we want to capture it, but we also didn't want to make you write on Post-its or go on Menti. So please do share those. We're going to be sending a feedback survey at the end of the day. We're going to ask you about actions. That is your chance to input, but also you can please always email us, always call us. Our mobiles are on the signatures for that reason, within work hours, because we need to think about the relentless nature, but always here as the FEA to support and want to hear what's coming, so feed that through. So thank you. We have tons of ideas in this room. We're excited to have the buzz happening over drinks. That takes us to the next year. So I talked about this before, what's happening. We've got our joint manifesto. We've got our digital tools, the ecosystem map to target and connect. We've got our youth engagement and our Youth Quake happening, and we have our awards, which I'm thrilled to hear about. I cannot wait. Becca, when we were talking about taking some time off tomorrow after the summit, mentioned that this is kind of like Glastonbury. And I was like, that's the best thing I've ever heard. So she's like, it's like you go to all the different stages, and then you've got to come back and meet with your friends, and you're saying, this happened there. Yeah, that's Becca. That was her analogy. And so tomorrow we're having our Glastonbury catch-up at 2 p.m. And so I'm really excited to hear about what's happened in the booster rooms, because I have absolutely no idea, but I know you've had a fantastic day. So that's the next year, and there are various ways to get involved. You'll be getting an email at 5 o'clock, so check your inboxes with that about taking part in our collective action. We've got 7 current groups. If you want to set up a new group and you want our help to do that, we will convene, we will take away all of the pain of collaboration, and we will equip you to be leading those. So whether you're joining one on parental engagement, on tuition advocacy, on literacy advocacy, on racial inequalities, join those, but if you have other ideas, put them in there. If you're thinking about how to join our youth engagement working groups, we've got the 2 on the organizational level and on the government level, so you can be joining those and working with young people to do that. Applying for our awards are open until the 9th of January, so you've got that. If it's for you, amazing. Please spread the word. The Innovation Award is also open to the public. And then also we have our digital tools, like we've talked about today, for enabling you to target the areas of greatest need and to equip place-based change. So that leaves us with the motto that we started with today. Not for me, not for you, but for us. It literally couldn't be better. And oh gosh, now we're coming back to Thanksgiving and crying. And I promise it couldn't be a better Thanksgiving, and it truly has been the best Thanksgiving. I'm sorry, family. So this is remarkable. And it leaves me with nothing else to say besides thank you. So thank you to all of you for your persistent dedication. Thank you, as I mentioned this morning, to all of our trusts, foundations, and business members who make this possible. But like I said, this has been sponsored and supported by Bloomberg. So Ellie, Caroline, and Joe, thank you for making this possible. And to all the volunteers who have been wayfinders, caterers, and doing everything today, I want to give you a huge round of applause. Right. We couldn't do it without you. Literally. Thank you to BAC for hosting us. This has been the most phenomenal venue, and everybody has said that it just brings a different element to the work that we do day in and day out, and it is incredible. So thank you for hosting us. And finally, if I can have all of the FEA team come on stage. Woo! Come on up. If you're in the room, that's right. If you're in the room, that is you. Yep. The team. I know we don't have our Emma. Thank you, yeah, Chloe, Hannah. We're missing a C1. Rachel Tate's on her way up here. Amazing. This isn't all of us. There are 10. Sam, you are supporting today. She's been on mat leave. You are part of the FEA family. Come on stage. Come on. Yeah. My goodness. Yeah. But yes, absolutely. Part of it. You wouldn't know, but our events manager, we don't have a proper events manager, actually, so you probably didn't know that. But our events manager isn't also here. We wish we were holding a popsicle stick with Emma Bremner's face on it. She's been supporting us from Hong Kong. To fill in the pieces. So Emma, you're here in spirit when you're watching this video. But team, it has truly been a remarkable effort, and I'm so proud of you for putting on what we've done today, but knowing about the impact that it's having and it will have going on. So if you can join me in thanking the team. Yeah! And we have the amazing Dame Julia coming up. So yes, I was going to say that leaves me with nothing left to say but the instructions for the next session. But I will say, I will leave me nothing left to say.
Well, I think all of us actually just want to say to you all, but particularly to the leadership of Gina, what an amazing operation we've had today, how much it has helped to build a collection of at times lonely and exhausted campaigners who have been pushing water uphill, gazing with horror at some of the things going on, and realizing how tough this is going to be for young people in the poorest communities and in the most disadvantaged areas as the recession bites and the winter gets colder. And therefore, for us to have had the opportunity put together by this amazing team, I speak on behalf of the trustees and on behalf of that amazing leader, Vanessa Ogden, who's rushed to run her next Mulberry Group board. I think all of us as trustees here are just so proud of what you've done and so proud of you, Gina. While Sam goes to create the next generation, Gina has led this absolutely magnificently. So perhaps just a round of applause again for them.
That was incredibly embarrassing, and I don't get embarrassed. So, but thank you so much. It means the world. So what's happening now is, well, thank goodness that Mayor Rotherham really liked the song that we had curated. We have hopefully had what you would say an incredible playlist today. Every song has been curated for the intro and outro. You'll be getting this playlist on Tuesday as a gift. So if you want to relive the summit, you will be getting the bit.ly/FEA summit tunes. And we'll be playing an outro song that I hope really resonates with you. And we will be inviting you to grab a beverage. These doors will open. There will be beverages magically there because the team are fantastic. Thank you so much, Joe, if you weren't here when I thanked you. Joe's made it all happen from the events perspective. And we will be having a surprise in approximately 10 to 15 minutes. So please stay here, grab your drinks, and then after the surprise, we'll have this whole space to continue. So massive round of applause. Thank you so much for today.
If I could have your attention towards the front of the room, please. We are going to wrap up today in a real celebration of the session that we did earlier on power, and very topical, it's in place. Don't feel you need to sit down. You can stand up for this. That's completely fine. We have the fantastic senior band joining us from Art Bolingbroke, which, if you remember back to Og Harley's opener, that's the school that she went to and is just up the road. So I am really delighted to introduce Jim and the senior band from Art Bolingbroke.
Thank you very much. We're going to play a piece, Move On Up, for you, and it's going to feature Macy Phillips, who's going to sing for you, and Bella Grimsey on the saxophone. Thank you very much.
Hush now, child, and don't you cry. Your folks might understand you by and by. Just move on up towards your destination. Though you may find from time to time complications. Bite your lip and take a trip. Though there may be a wet road ahead and you cannot slip, just move on up. The peace you will find into the steeple of beautiful people where there's only one kind. So hush now, child, and don't you cry. Your folks might understand you by and by. Just move on up to keep on wishing. Remember, your dream is your only scheme, so keep on pushing. Say nothing less than the supreme best. Do not obey rumors people say, 'cause you can pass the test. Just move on up. The space you will find with just a little faith. If you put your mind to it, you can surely do it. Just move on up. Move on up. Just move on up. Oh, Oh, child, just move on up. Just move on up. Oh, just move on up.
That was all you're going to say? That's it? Amazing. One more round of applause then. I thought I was interrupting for them. Thank you so much for coming, for providing the energy. One of the things that we talked about most today was hope, because we're looking at outcomes from across the country. We're thinking about what we can do to shape education. And a key lesson was hope. And you have given all of us that hope. All of us is brilliance. All of us, I think a little bit of jealousy, well, definitely me. So I am a big, big advocate for everything you're doing and want to thank you for taking your time. So another round of applause for the senior band of Arc Bolingbroke and their fantastic conductor. What we're trying to make happen in the education sector, the brilliant teachers and leaders. So Jim and Beth, thank you so much for your work as well. With that, we will put on a not as great playlist, of course, that could ever compete with this, and be here to celebrate and connect, share and learn until 7. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.